I have a short Fear and Hunger lore video for you today. As I did a video about Mahabharat, one of the final areas in the first Fear and Hunger game, I figured we should discuss the town of Fear and Hunger 2, that being the capital of the in-lore country of Bohemia. The town is called Prehevil, or Prehevil, it depends on who you ask. In real life, it is based on the city of Prague in the Czech Republic. In real life, however, Bohemia is technically still a real place, but it refers to the westernmost region of the Czech Republic. However, it is not a real country. It's just a region. So for my American brethren, it would be like if the country was named the Pacific Northwest instead of the United States of America, but I digress. In the old times, before the city was even established, there was a lake to the west named Lake Verdite, which has an island in the middle named Devil's Island, which is translated literally to the Devil's Island. In addition to this lake and island, a little later, a tower was constructed, known as the Hollow Tower. It is unknown when this tower was constructed, but we do know that the town was constructed around the tower itself. The tower is mysterious, and it is just an elevator that raises to the top of the tower with nothing at the top, when no town events are going on at least. Hence the name, the Hollow Tower. However, this tower has a secret, as it is the center point where the Termina festival is held, where the proctor of the festival oversees the festival of Termina. This proctor is known as Percola, which is the only proctor we know of. However, there was at least one more proctor a long time ago for the festival. But because of this, it is very possible that the entire town of Prehevil was constructed around the tower to be the perfect town for the Termina festival. The Termina festival is a sort of battle royale to appease the moon god, or the sulfur god in Fear and Hunger 2's case. And because of this, this city was very prosperous during the Cruel Age, which was around the year of 1600. However, the city is no longer as prosperous as it once was. Because the city was originally constructed around the Hollow Tower for the Termina festival, the city is very much steeped in religion, which in the modern day is becoming less and less the norm, which is directly correlated why the city isn't as prosperous as it once was, because of the world's propensity to move towards technology and science instead of religion. Because of it becoming less popular, they had to add more modern things in the town, like modern shopping districts, and more modern buildings like movie theaters and news stations. However, these parts of the town are often neglected, even more so than the other parts of the town. However, even in these modern parts of Prehevil, there are still religious artifacts and statues everywhere, showing that the town is very much still sticking to their old ways, despite it not getting them really anywhere. Because of this, the town is known for how religious it is, especially for the worship of Alll-Merr, the Ascended One, which you can learn more about in this video I uploaded about him. However, it would seem that all of this worship for Alll-Merr is a front. The Church of Alll-Merr doesn't really seem to only worship Alll-Merr, but his counterpart, the Sulfur God, as well. A pretty widely accepted evil god in the Fear and Hunger lore. Because of this, there are human sacrifices all over town to either Alll-Merr or the Sulfur God. There are references to other gods in the town though, not just those two, like the statue of Sylvian, the goddess of love, in the city's red light district. Strangely, however, the higher-ups of the country want to keep the capital of Bohemia, Prehevil. This is strange, however, because although it isn't exactly a tiny town, it is in the middle of nowhere and not all that big. There are no towns anywhere near it. It's not a central trade hub or anything, so it's very weird that it is the capital of the country, and it has to have some sort of importance to the higher-ups of the world. The town itself also holds some dark secrets. According to the Prehevil document, looking back at the history of this place, there has been a settlement here for as long as the history books cover in the area. It is always centered around the mysterious Hollow Tower that works as the central pillar of the community. The city flourished during the Cruel Age in the 1600s, but quickly fell from prominence the closer we got to modern times. I understand the city is medium in size as far as cities in Eastern Europa go, but I still find it hard to believe that this would serve as the hub of any kind of civilized world. For some reason, the government officials insist that Prehevil keeps its capital identity despite it being one of the more remote and unwelcoming cities in all of Bohemia, if not all of Europa. The only explanation I can come up with is that the country is proud of its old archaic rites that still go down in the city when they want to show their full support. If you were to visit Prehevil and sightsee its small center, you'd see glimpses of its ancient glory days, still well and alive in these modern times. Do not let the Western-style shopping district and its latest movie posters and advertisements fool you. The locals still worship the old world order and dank and crumbling parts of town. Ritualistic murder sites are just around the corner no matter where you are in the city. While the churches look to be dedicated to our one true god Alll-Merr from the outside, insides tell a whole different story. Ancient gods without name in any known language still linger in those crypts. And why wouldn't they? You can hear the priests chant their masses in the moonlit alleys during the dead of night. The whole wicked city is a playground for ancient beings and the people that offer themselves to the first taker without second thought. The city is almost considered evil by the rest of the world. There are random ritualistic sacrifices and murders all the time and nothing is done about it. And it would seem that the mayor of this town holds almost no power whatsoever. It seems that the clergy is really in control, which would make more sense as the closer to the center of town you get, the more religious and strange locations there are. Before the 1900s, the city was the territory of the Eastern Union. During this occupation, the Eastern Union made a series of tunnels under the city, almost like the Denver airport, where secret projects were conducted. More importantly of which is the Logic Project, which you can see my video on here, but the short version is the Eastern Union and the nameless Liberty Underground, a neutral party, were attempting to make a man-made god of technology, and pretty much succeeded. The Bremen Empire, the game's equivalent of the Nazis, learned of this however and sent a very large force to occupy this town immediately. After which, a peace treaty was immediately signed so that more of the town was not destroyed to protect the Logic Project, which it would seem was more important than the war itself to the leader of the Bremen Empire, the Yellow King. In the year 1942, the year that Fear and Hunger 2 takes place, something has happened to the town, and it wasn't the war. It would seem a mass killing has happened in the center of Prehevil, or perhaps more Termina festivals had happened and killed almost all of the residents of the town. Mayrina, one of the possible protagonists, thinks her father, a higher up in the Church of Alll-Merr, had something to do with it. However, there are a lot of moon-scorched villagers around as well, so that also gives credence to the Termina festival being involved. As soon as the 14 contestants arrive in town at the beginning of the game, Percola, proctor of the Termina festival, has taken up residence in the Hollow Tower for a bit yet again, where he patiently awaits someone to kill everyone else and either gain the Sulphur's God favor or at the very least be the last one standing. However, if the player character does the A ending, the festival will strangely be cancelled, allowing everyone who is still alive in Prehevil to leave unharmed. However, even if this ending does come to fruition, it would seem that everyone who is moonscorched in the town will either die or just be left there. Other than that, however, that is pretty much all there is about the town of Prehevil. There is some other stuff like the orphanage, the church, and the museum, but those are topics for another day. If you like this video and you want to see more Fear and Hunger lore, make sure you like and comment if you learned something. And also, if you didn't see, I'm currently working on a really big video on Serial Experiments Lane, a disturbing anime. So if you're excited to see that and want to see it, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss out on any uploads. But with that, I love you all, and I will see you next time. Bye.